Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing quote-unquote COVID visas and whether or not it's possible to convert from a quote COVID visa over into a standard visa of any type. I've had questions on this from a lot of folks. I don't know why here recently, but it's probably a good idea to look into this. If you are still on what's been deemed a COVID visa, which is basically an extension of status under the discretionary powers granted under the emergency decree of March 2020 to immigration to basically extend folks' status that basically got caught here during COVID. And understand, it's discretionary to begin with that these be issued. And then on top of that, the folks that were not here and got caught during the emergency decree back in March of 2020, it is not a foregone conclusion that you can get a COVID visa. Maybe if you get an immigration officer willing to favorably exercise their discretion, that may be possible, but it is not a foregone conclusion. Understand that. I've had a lot of people who've contacted us over the past few months that have come to find out the hard way that it's not necessarily something that will necessarily be granted if they were not stuck here. But regardless, those who are on quote-unquote COVID visa, is it possible to convert? Sure, I sound like a broken record to those who watch this channel often, but yeah, it's going to depend on your circumstances. It's going to depend on why you're looking to convert. Understand the default position of immigration and part of their inherent paradigm is that non-immigrant visa holders and anybody converting out of a COVID visa would be presumably converting into a non-immigrant visa. They want those folks to have to go abroad, get a visa from a Thai embassy, and then come back in. That's kind of the default position. Now, everybody understands we're under kind of different circumstances right now. When exactly that will end remains to be seen. But if you're in a situation where you can get yourself into a non-immigrant visa, it's advisable that you do so. I said this about a year ago. I was talking about this too. And the folks that went ahead and did that, they found themselves in a lot more relaxed set of circumstances. They're not constantly having to worry about getting converted over or maintaining their extension. They're just in longer term status. The other thing, and I think this is key, we may not get hardly any notice that the COVID quote unquote extensions are going to end. They've been done as an expedience. If and when, and obviously the current situation doesn't look like we're going to see anything happen in the upcoming weeks, but if and when it does come to an end, it may be very abrupt. They may just say, okay, we're done. That program is over. And we've seen them do similar things over the course of the past 18 months. And I've certainly seen very abrupt policy changes happen over the course of my time dealing with Thai immigration over going on 14 years now. But long story short, yeah, if you can get into a non-immigrant status, it's probably better that you do that rather than just trying to maintain status using one of these COVID extensions. So the thing that I would take away from this video is get into regularized status early and often and understand that you may actually have some issues with that because, again, it is giving the COVID visa is discretionary. Conversion is also discretionary and requires a lot more. For example, conversion into a business visa, that's a lot of paperwork you're talking about dealing with. Marriage visa is somewhat similar, although perhaps less corporate documentation, obviously, because you're not dealing with a corporate sponsor. But yeah, you're looking at documentation to prove that up. And also, you've got to get over this hurdle, this sort of paradigmatic hurdle in the mind of these immigration officers that they'd really prefer you to go abroad and come back rather than convert in country. And so for that reason, probably a good idea to figure out farther in advance than later how you're going to do it. And under certain circumstances, it might not be a bad idea. Contact a legal professional, gain some insight and guidance in how best to proceed.